Hey, Grand Risings. Hope you're having a blessed day. It's a new one. It's here for you. It's here for me. It's here for everyone to be the best version of themselves that they wish to be. And yeah, it feels like I've not done this again. It feels like I've not done it for ages. I've been busy. Stretch. I've been busy. I've been doing lots of things. I've been traveling and doing house things and home family things, and yeah, it's been an intense few weeks. But I'm distracted by Robin. Energy wise, I think for a lot of people, and I suppose that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a theme that's been coming up in my experience, and then it's been reflected back at me in other people's experiences. Where to start from? Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning, obviously. In the beginning. Yeah, so the last kind of week I've been sat quite quietly, I think, doing lots of processing about all my experiences. Wow, like, my experiences. And all the different people that have been in my life, and all the different places I've been, and where I've come from, like how far I've come, like how I used to feel like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like fuck. Wow, and all the things that I've overcome, and all the things that I would never have been able to have done, or at least, no, scratch that, not that I would not have been able to have done, but I was telling myself I couldn't do them. I was telling myself, oh, I can't do that, and my fear would win out. My fear would win. And or my insecurities, or my perception of myself, how I viewed myself, my self-worth, and how I viewed myself in comparison to other people. For a long time, was always I'm a lot different to other people. I'm a lot weirder than other people, and and this last week, I would say, the last week, the theme for me has been seeing other people in maybe still living in a conditioned way, but actually having the same thoughts, to see them from an external perspective. You'd think, like, I'm going to put this in little things like normal or typical, or and actually they have the same thoughts, the same, similar, not exactly the same obviously, but very similar thoughts and very similar feelings and very similar experiences and insecurities and desires and views about themselves, as I have done in the years that have gone. And I've been doing quite a bit of performing and recording, and looking at my words, and as a frame of reference to my experiences and how I feel. And the different people that I've come across recently, really cool, people that I would consider oh my god, you're amazing, and powerful, strong, capable, passionate, amazing, creative beings that have all shared feelings of insecurity or nervousness or anxiety, or or say people that I've known in the past. And so the common theme is that somebody that I know on YouTube, a YouTube creator, content creator, she's amazing, she's a beautiful being. She's recently shared that she has these feelings, and that to put herself out on YouTube, to create a channel, and to put her face out on the internet and to do her things and make her creations is actually a big thing for her, coming from where she was. And it's the same for me. There was time, say 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, that I would never have got up on stage and performed music. I would never have played an instrument in front of people. I would never have put my face out on YouTube. I would never have sat and made videos and discussed how I feel and sat and been myself in front of so many people, knowing that people could bully, really, in a sense. It's what it is. Let's call it out on what it is. When people start putting loads of negative comments and trying to encourage other people to do the same, it's bullying. That's what it is. And I think people do it sometimes thinking that it's not going to have an effect on people, because it's the internet, and actually it does. And for a long time, I stayed away from social media for that purpose, because I just was not in a state of empowerment. I did not know myself well enough to not let that affect me. And now, fucking say what you want, I couldn't give a shit. I love being Kiyotara. Kiyotara's amazing. I love spending time with myself, and I love who I am, and I embrace and accept all the aspects of me. And a few different content creators that I kind of engage with, online and in person as well. It's been amazing. Some of them have reached out to me, and I've reached out to others, and we have this beautiful little connected community of like-minded, powerful individuals that are all doing the same thing. They're expressing their authentic, raw selves, even when that comes in crying or admitting, do you know what, I feel fucking exhausted today, and I feel anxious, and I'm not going to be doing any creating today. I'm resting today, or maybe for the next week, I'm just going to go into hermit mode and I'm resting, so you won't see me for a bit. I don't even feel the need to explain. I just go, yeah, I'm going. I don't do the thing. Or I just don't turn up to places. I don't feel the need to explain myself. Not that there's an issue with people explaining, do you know what, you're not going to see me for a bit. That's fine. That's how you want to do it that way. But yeah, seeing so many people that I would consider to be powerful, strong individuals, openly admit their insecurities, their anxieties, their fears, how hard sometimes it might be to do what they're doing, even though it might not appear that way. It's well, wow, I couldn't tell that you were struggling up there on that stage. I've been to open mic nights where it's poetry readings, and there's someone that has open, we'll sit and go, actually, I'm really struggling with my anxiety today, and they literally just got up and walked out, and no explanation needed, just didn't do it. Didn't feel the need to fulfill this obligation, oh fuck, I've turned up, I've put my name down, now I've got to do it. I was totally honoured how they were feeling in the moment, and left. And it's amazing. It's been inspiring. And there's one guy in particular that's really inspired me over the years, really inspired me, fucking. And I knew him when he was a little wee Ben, he was a little diddy one. And he was so young, and I would go to gigs and festivals, and he would get up on stage and he would sing and do his thing, and he'd dance and he'd play his instruments, and I got chatting with him, and he was such a lovely guy. He was so authentic in his being, and he was so humble and open-hearted, and he would give everyone the same time of day, and it's this guy gets up on stage and he plays with these really, well-known bands, and he's so humble with it. And I came across him once just before he went up on stage, and he was in this really anxious state. I was are you okay? I thought something had happened. I thought there'd been an event or something, there'd been a trouble, because he was kind of did a bit of work with the festivals sometimes as well. And I was oh, are you okay? And picked up on his anxiety, and he was oh yeah, I just get a bit of stage fright. And I was what? No. And I couldn't believe that this person that I would see get up on stage in front of so many people, and who I perceived to be really confident and empowered in themselves, and sure of themselves, and certain of who they were, was experiencing like the same kind of feelings that I would experience, and that he was open and honest about them. That he just stood in front of me and said, yeah, I'm like, I get a bit stage fright, like, to be honest with you. And that's really stuck with me for a long, long time. And then over the years, you know, dipped in and out of, like, you know, sometimes we fall out of touch for a long, long time, and then occasionally we dip in again, and and just seeing him on his journey, and still, you know, occasionally he's talked about his mental health with me, and just that openness, that authentic feeling of connecting with another human being about what would be perceived as weaknesses, what would be perceived as something that might hinder you or hold you back, and actually watching this guy fucking smash through all of those roadblocks and all of those barriers that he experiences. And, you know, it's amazing now. He like travels the world. He fucking does all sorts of stuff and does his own music, like does music full time. And such an inspiration to me. And again, it's like, it's kind of mirrored the woman, the content creator, who's like just expressed out openly on YouTube, like in a post about how being on YouTube is like quite a big thing for her sometimes. Just putting her face on the internet is like, whereas she used to like sort of want to hide away and hide her face and hide her voice and hide her words and her expression of truth for fear of you know, whatever the fear came from, I suppose. Many things, probably conditioning, Babylon, Matrix. And then I was at an open mic night last night, and the two guys that kind of run the open mic night, like one of them's like so young, and he's got like this, he's started up this business and to empower other people and to like raise other people up, you know. And he openly admits, like he was talking to me like, oh, I run this like kind of music business and I don't even know how to play an instrument. And it's like, that's amazing. Like, you can enjoy music and like not feel that you've got to like be at the top of your game in order to fucking experience music, enjoy music, like raise people up in the music business. And he's just started learning the guitar, and he said this beautiful thing on one of his things about, it's like one of the most enjoyable but humbling experiences is to learn a new instrument. It's like, yeah, it's very humbling. Very humbling. And then the other guy that runs it got up and sang some amazing songs, like, and one of them was about like not giving in to fear, like being comfortable, I suppose, in being the black sheep and being the lone wolf and being the odd one out, and still experiencing these fears, but fucking just smashing through them. And that open, again, it was just like, it was like another mirror of like, wow, okay, got all these beautiful authentic beings like expressing their vulnerability, and there is fucking so much strength in expressing, like, do you know what, I'm not really feeling up to it today, I'm feeling a bit anxious, and I don't want to sit in that energy, and I just want to be here on my own. Or sometimes, actually, do you know what, I'm feeling anxious today, but I'm going to do it anyway, and if I fuck it up, fine, I fuck it up. And just being comfortable with making mistakes. And, you know, there's recently been a person in my life, not in my life anymore, who taught me that, and that was a beautiful experience. Being comfortable with making mistakes and fucking up in front of people and laughing about it and just accepting it and just kind of, okay, whatever, you know, I made a mistake, I fucked it up, and, you know, just carry on anyway, because we all fuck it up. And we all make mistakes, we all fuck up, we all get anxious, we all feel tired and exhausted, and we all kids being kids, right? We all experience anxiety, and we all experience like moments of just wanting to just go, oh, can't do this today. And sometimes we will have people in our lives that help us through that. Sometimes we will have people that hold our hands and guide us through it, and or do it for us, and or just sit with us in the hump. Just sit with us and go, it's okay, are you feeling shit today? And not try and fix it, and not try and make you laugh, or, you know, not try and change how you're feeling, but will just sit with you in the shit. And sometimes we won't have people to do that with us. Sometimes other people are too busy sorting their own shit out, and that's okay. Sometimes we have to sit with it on our own and be like, okay, I'm on my own in this. That's not a bad thing. That's an okay thing. Like, sometimes I need to be on my own and feel this on my own so that I can learn to pick myself up when there isn't other people to do that for me or with me. But even if it's from a distance and you seeing somebody else who you perceive to be this like really capable, strong person is going, yeah, sometimes it's really difficult for me to do the thing that I do that, you know, brings me joy, because I'm still working through my own conditioning. I'm still battling Babylon. I'm still fucking trying to see through the matrix. I'm still trying to fucking heal my trauma. I'm still trying to find out who I am. I don't, you know, somebody else in my life at the minute is really struggling with knowing who they are, not what other people have told them that they are, not what society is expecting them to be, you know, as well as trying to navigate all their fucking anxieties and their neurodiversities and how they interact and navigate, you know, the world and society, and just trying to figure out who they are. It's a tough go. Like, it's tough going in this world in Babylon. And, you know, don't think that when you see people doing really well, when you see people getting up on stage and singing and performing and writing their poetry and opening up their fucking deepest, darkest traumas and fears, or, you know, looking amazing, you know, that doesn't mean that it's easy. Doesn't mean that they find it easy and that you have somehow failed because you're finding it hard today. Like, there are days when they might be finding it hard now. They might just be smiling through it and going, today I am going to smile through it. Today I am not going to sit, you know, and cry all day. There was a day like last week when, like, me and one of my kids literally just sat and we cried for nearly 24 hours. And sometimes we did it together, and sometimes we went off and did it separately. And I think the full moon had a lot to do with it, and we were both quite exhausted. And, you know, moon times, hormones. And it was just that, and it wasn't like, oh my God, you know, I should be out doing something else. I should be feeling strong and smiling through the tears and getting out there. And no, actually, those feelings were necessary. To feel that was necessary. To experience that and allow it and not push it away was necessary. And to see each other in that moment, like being vulnerable and allowing our feelings, like, I don't know what's up with me today, I just feel like this and I don't know why, and I'm just going to allow it. I'm not going to push it away. I'm not going to reject that aspect of me, you know. And I think it's not given enough space and time for today in this like society, and in the consistent, like, we've got to go and achieve and be our best selves all the time and be happy, you know. And we're constantly scared of sadness and anger and upset and vulnerability and anxiety, that we push it away, or we try to placate it and like cover it up without going, well, why am I feeling like this? Like, why? You know, like, and sometimes it's a fucking valid, reasonable response to your environment, you know, quite often. And I've been guilty of doing this myself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here from like a fucking judgy, preachy perspective of like, oh, I've never done this. But seeing it from an external perspective, like quite a few years ago, was one of my children actually saying it to my face, it was like, well, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just lie about how I'm feeling? And it was that like, and it wasn't that I was doing it from, I'll tell you what I'm saying first before I talk about that. So I quite often see parents like try to stop their children from crying, try to stop their children feeling sad. And I get it, like, I've done it myself, because you don't want your child to feel upset and you don't want them to feel like that. But actually, they're fucking really necessary emotions. And when we go, oh, it's okay, you know, you don't need to cry, it's okay, like, and you try to like make a joke, or you try to cheer them up, or you try to like, what would you like? Would you like something to eat? And I get that sometimes it's necessary to help ourselves to emotionally regulate, but sometimes it's okay to just go, I feel really shit, and cry, and just allow the cry and allow the anger and the shout, because it helps us to figure out why we're feeling that way. Like, and when one of my kids said that to me, it was years ago now, and it was just like, no, actually, I don't want you to lie about how you're feeling. I don't. And yeah, it is painful for me to sit and watch. Like, sometimes we do it to make ourselves feel better. We try to make somebody else stop crying or feel better because we want to feel better, because it's uncomfortable for us to be around that. And actually, to sit with someone and just let them be upset and let them cry and let them be tired and not go, are you okay? Do you, like, is there something I can do? Like, oh, it's okay, like, life's great, like, you know, look on the bright side. And yeah, it's good to like look on the bright side, but sometimes you don't want to look on the bright side. Sometimes you just want to let the sadness pass through and fuck off. But it won't fuck off if you don't let it pass through. It's gonna keep fucking banging on the door, like, can I just come through? Like, I just literally just need to come through, and then I'll be off, I'll be on my way. But we can't do that if there isn't space for us to go, do you know what, I'm just feeling really anxious today, and that's okay. Everyone's made to feel like they have to be okay all the time, and that isn't life. Everyone's made to feel like we have to be pretty, and we have to be pristine and clean and perfect and presented in a certain way all the fucking time, and that's not life. Like, I'm going to put a link actually in the description to a beautiful song by a woman, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't know how to say her name. I've never heard it said. It's either fire or fear, and I feel like it's fire because, like, fire. Probably wrong. I always get these words that like could be said either way. I never know how to say them. But she's an amazing artist. Like, she really is. She's beautiful. She has so many beautiful words of wisdom to share, and she's really like inspired me on my journey. She's opened my heart, my eyes, my mind in so many ways. And every time I listen to her songs, I get something new from them. And yeah, she's very beautiful. But I'm going to put a link into the description of one of her songs that is basically a little bit like this theme. It's about life is about being ugly and pretty. It's about being messy and clean. It's about the battle scars that we collect over time. And I've been meaning to do a little video about a poem that I've written recently. A few poems, actually. I've done a few that I have in the backlog. I have so many projects in the making that I haven't had the space to do. And that's okay. That's not a complaint. That's not like, oh my God, I haven't had, it's not an excuse. It's just, it's a space of like, I just haven't had the space, and I didn't want to push it or force it because I felt like this need to achieve and constantly bash content out and go. Like, no, if I'm not in the space, I'm not in the space. But yeah, it's about like just having these battle scars and collecting them and being proud of them. And actually, this is part of my journey. Like, there is a poem, again, I'll put a little link in, about embracing my face and all the bits of myself that some people might perceive to be, you know, not perfect. And, you know, we airbrush all the shit out, and spots and blemishes and wrinkles, and fucking we try to cover them up and plump them out. And actually, like, there's nothing better than an expressive, gnarly face that's like shows all the things that this person has experienced. It's like a work of art. It's like a tree and its bark, you know, you can see all the bits on it and shows you what it's lived through and what its environment has been. And that's how you can gauge that person and what they've experienced. And that's an amazing thing. Like, experience is wisdom. Why would you want to look like you haven't experienced anything? Why would you want to present as though, oh no, I'm fine, I'm happy, everything's great, everything's amazing? And, you know, sometimes things aren't amazing, and that's okay, but that's what's amazing about them is that there's nuggets of wisdom in all the things, in the sadness, in the grief, in the sorrow, in the joy, in the love, in the loss. And I'm so grateful to the fact that I've been like, more and more people have been coming into my life in the last like couple of months that are reflecting back at me like this. Like, I can see it, like they're amazing, capable human beings, and they're so strong and passionate, and they're being so authentic in how they feel in this moment, and in how they've experienced their life, and how they've grown, and how they've got to where they are. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And yeah, like, I can't be anything else other than me. Like, I sometimes I do hide away when I'm feeling a bit shitty and I'm feeling a bit sad and overwhelmed, because like, if I'm in the middle of the street and I want to start crying, I will start crying. There has been so many times I've walked through the streets, like crying, like, and you know, or laughing too, like laughing my head off and about feeling joy, and or singing or skipping and dancing. And but sometimes, you know, other people might not be in the space to have the capacity. Oh, hey, squirrel, how you doing? Cheeky. Squirrel knows that Athena is inside. It's just like, oh, I got free reign. Oh, let's go over to play with the mice. Cute. I got distracted. I definitely got distracted. Yeah, there's been so many times like I've walked through the streets crying, and sometimes I will go into hermit mode, because other people might not have capacity to deal with me crying. Or, you know, if somebody says, how are you feeling, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like shit, like this thing's happened, like, and people don't always have capacity for you to offload, and I get that. So I try to go away and sit with it, and, you know, do it on my own, I suppose, between myself and me, myself and I, and me and creator source, and, or, you know, Gaia's quite often very helpful in helping me to navigate and move through how I'm feeling. And I'm just so grateful to all the beings out there that will be open and honest and authentic about how they're feeling, and will present in, you know, we all have tired days. We all have days where we wake up and, like, the day before we might have been crying our eyes out. Like I was saying the other day, when me and one of my kids had been like crying, or like, I would say it was a good 24 hours on and off consistently. I think there might have been 3 of us really that were crying on and off, on and off. We'd had an experience, a shared experience together, and yeah, we'd expressed how we'd felt, and then we got very emotional about it, and we'd spent, yeah, pretty much about 24 hours crying our eyes out. The next day we all woke up like quite late. Obviously, our bodies had been through quite a lot, so we all slept in. I slept in until 7:30. Wow. And yeah, we all woke up with like really puffy eyes, and just like, oh, you too, like, yeah. And, you know, we all have days where we wake up exhausted and we've got puffy eyes, and or spots or blemishes, or like my eczema's flared up today, you know, because I was filming a music video yesterday. Woo, get me doing new things. And like, I was out, and sometimes just things aggravate it, and I think I had like a scented candle. There was the only candle I could find was a scented one, and it must have had something in it, and I've touched it and then touched my face, and like, my fucking eczema's flared up today, and that's fine. Like, I don't care. Look, there you go. I've got eczema on my chin, and it's fine. And, you know, or we have days where our body aches, and we might not be able to be as movie as and free with our movements as we would like to be, or, you know, we might have injuries, or we might just feel emotionally fucking drained and feel snappy and not want to deal with other fucking people. and we just might not have capacity. And that's okay. You know, it's when we feel like we have to present in this perfect way and shit. Like, now I've got to go and be out in public and I've got to cover my eczema up and I've got to... what do I do with these puffy eyes, you know? And I've got to put all creams on to try and reduce the puffiness. Why? Why? It's not going to be forever. Today you came with puffy eyes. Today you came with eczema. Today you came with spots. Today you came, you know, with a cold sore. Or today you came and you didn't quite have capacity or the time to engage with personal grooming / hygiene today. So you're a bit smelly and you're a bit dirty, and that's okay. You know, and the more that I do this, I find the more people come into my life mirroring the same thing, being their authentic, raw, full human experiences, and I am so grateful. I have just been truly privileged and blessed, and yeah, thank you. And I'm sure you all know who you are, who I'm all talking about, you know, and just, yeah, amazing human beings we are, aren't we? And we're all so similar to each other. Like, why do we keep pretending that we're these perfect individuals when we're not? Nobody's perfect. That's the point. That's the point. There is no perfect. There is no perfect mold. Only what media and society says, you know, is perfect in that moment. Like, it changes. Look at history. Look at fashion history. Oh my God. Like, there was, when I was a kid, when I was younger, I've always had, like, you know, not a huge bum, but it's always been slightly larger than, you know, average, I suppose. Well, not anymore, but when I was younger, it was not fashionable for women to have big bums. It was not fashionable. Like, skinny was in. And I was just like, wow, that's just me out of the fucking question, isn't it? Like, I'm never going to be that. And now, like, everyone wants this giant bum, like, and that's just because that's what's in fashion. And what's going to happen when skinny bums are back in? When skinny bums are back in fashion, like, what are all the big-butted people going to do then? Like, it's a concept. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Perfection doesn't exist. It's elusive, and it's a myth. We're all imperfectly perfect. Perfect in our imperfections. Say that with big teeth. Perfect in our imperfections. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to all the content creators out there, and the musicians and the artists and the creative people, and just the people speaking their truth authentically and presenting themselves in an authentic fashion in all the shapes, ways and forms that you come in. Because you creating space for all the other human beings, like, you know, not necessarily for me. I'm kind of mainly in that space where I'm like, I'll just be who I am and feel how I'm feeling and express what I want to express. And if I want to cry, I will cry. And if I'm going to come spotty today, I'll be spotty, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. Hairy, smelly, dirty, whatever. But you're helping to create space for everybody else to do the same, to feel comfortable in themselves. And I'm so truly grateful for you being in my life. And yeah, big shout out to Music Box for the open mic night last night, and to Alfie and Charlie for putting it on. And, you know, whether you watch this or not, just, yeah, I had such an amazing time, and thank you for your words and your authenticity, and to all the other great people that I've been meeting over the last few months. Thank you. You make me so happy and joyful. I love you. And that's all I'm going to say for today. Because I have been in a bit of rest mode, because I've been in a constant creative state, and it's taken its toll. And so I do need to rest a little bit. I need to go into hermit mode and get this video edited. I'm so excited. But I will be doing the live meditation on Tuesday. I'm going to attempt it. Please cross your fingers, wish me luck, and put all the good energy and vibes out there. Yeah. I am going to attempt live meditation on Tuesday. It's going to be a little bit later this time because obviously the light is changing, and there's no point in me sitting in the dark if there's no point if you can't see me, and the birds aren't out. There's no point. So meditation will probably be getting later and later for me, as you know. I do like to work with the seasons and the natural light. So it will probably be about 7 o'clock-ish this time. I will do the thing. I would love for you to join me, even if it's just for 5 minutes, to just sit and listen and be with the wind in the trees and the birds singing and greeting the new day. Just ground in, find yourself and who you are, so you can go and take your beautiful, authentic, unique, individual self out into the world that day. Yeah, it means a lot to me to share that space with you, and for you to share my space. So I hope you have a great day, and you feel loved and strong and capable and powerful, even in your weaknesses and your anxieties and your vulnerable moments. And know that, you know, universe has always got your back. You are loved, and yeah, I love you, and have a great day.